Allegedly in the 1980s, there was an arcade game that appeared in Portland, Oregon. Its gameplay is described as psychedelic and intense. The player would have to solve puzzles that would get more and more difficult as the levels progressed, resulting in the player becoming hypnotized, and sometimes even dying. Polybius is an urban legend according to some, a game that never existed. Or did it? Those who survived playing it say it was similar to the game Tempest, which came out in October of 1981. Perhaps it was the lack of designs and graphics on the outside shell of the machine that failed to make an impression on people, making it easily forgettable. But despite that, they say it drew in players like moths to a flame. The only thing was, once you played the game, you were never the same again.
What is up, pod people? This is another episode of Hoofhearted. I am Doc, and with me is Mex. What's up, Mex?
I'm angry.
You're what?
Angry.
You're angry? Why?
None of these people appreciate that I call them sexy anymore. and nah, I'm just kidding. What's up, guys?
Our
you guys
two
sexy
listeners.
for an episode. You guys don't even fucking like me no more. I see the comments.
There are no comments. It's all just body counts,
We gotta
dude.
create drama, dude.
Yo, is that what we gotta do? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all
How do you
bots,
think
man.
The world is, man. Like
Manufacture
Donald Trump
drama.
and Hillary Clinton, they're friends, dude. They just be talking shit.
They both suck Bill Clinton's dick.
Huh?
They both sucked Bill Clinton's dick, so
Not even just that, but I mean, I guess that would kind of create more of the feud. So
why? Because Donald was better.
She was like, "If I was president, bitch, you'd be in jail. You'd be in jail." So stupid.
Oh, dude.
Fuck.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no. I'm not angry at you guys. You guys are fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Get through the day.
So this is another episode of Who Farted, and I just wanted to let everybody know that you can contact us on Instagram, the Who Farted Podcast on Instagram. I am Doc Farted, and Mex is the _ Mexalorian. You can talk to us. I know Johnny talks to us. Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Also,
Someone does.
yeah, Johnny, I believe he's got a new podcast coming out. I hope he does. He is no longer doing the Who's Talking with Anthony. Anthony's a little much, but if you ever listen to that, but he's got a new one coming out. So I'm gonna wait until that comes out, or until he tells me for sure, and then I will give him a shout out on that one. But for those who are listening, if you don't contact us, that's fine. We appreciate you listening anyways. So thank you. And today's episode, we are going to talk about Polybius. And that's about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about Polybius. So I don't know. I'm sorry. I was looking at my phone. So somebody texted me. But anyways, you don't really know anything about that, right?
No.
Polybius? Okay. So
Just that it's like a game, right?
yeah, so allegedly, like if people remember what the first intro clip was, Polybius was a game back in the 80s. It was an arcade game. If nobody's ever played Tempest, it's like back in the day the graphics sucked. I mean, by comparison, right? But this was early on. This was like early 80s. And so it's all like kind of like wireframe type graphics, right? So they're not fantastic, but a lot of like flashing lights. And allegedly with this game, it didn't have a lot of graphics on the cabinet, so it was very like conspicuous. Wasn't flashy. This is all according to urban legend. It wasn't flashy. It was just this one cabinet, and I guess it was in one arcade, and then some stories say it was in a couple of arcades, and the game was supposed to kind of like brainwash you. And if you played it, then Men in Black would come and show up, and just like all this other shit. I'm gonna read what the Wikipedia says, because that's that's where we get all of our that's our main source of anything. Um, there we go. Polybius is an urban legend, a thing that may not exist. The legend says that playing the game would produce intense psychoactive and addictive effects in the player. The few arcade machines were said to have been visited periodically by Men in Black for the purpose of data mining the machines and analyzing these effects. Supposedly, all of these Polybius arcade machines then disappeared from the arcade market. The urban legend has persisted in video game journalism and through continued interest, and it has inspired video games with the same name. The legend may have come from coinop.org, a website about arcade games. The only screenshot is the title screen. It was supposedly developed by Sinislocken Inc. In 1981. So that is, there's not much information on this, but yeah, that's basically what it was in a nutshell. And what I wanted to talk about though was, do you think that there's any truth in something like this, right? Because you have to, I know this is before your time, but arcade games, like video games, were something new, right? And like back in the late 70s, that's when arcade games started to kind of like come up. And then in the early 80s, arcades blew up. So many arcade games. And just like Dungeons and Dragons and rock music, it was something that parents,
The devil.
yeah, it was of the devil, right? So it was scary shit. I'm pretty sure that the tale of of a video game brainwashing you or making you turn into a zombie or anything like that, I'm sure that it was made up by a parent, and I'm sure that that it was meant to scare the kids into not playing video games. But like most of the time, parents don't understand that when you scare your kid by saying that this game is bad for you, it's going to make you want to go and play the game, right? Like you look at Mortal Kombat, man. When you found out that there was all that blood and fatality, you're like, fuck yeah, I want to play that. So I'm pretty sure it had the reverse effect, just like telling your kids that Dungeons and Dragons is of the devil and rock music is gonna make you see Satan, or you're worshiping Satan. Like, yeah, kids are gonna be like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. So I imagine it was something that was told to scare kids, and this is how things spread. Back in the day, you would say something to a friend like just playing like a video game, right? Like I found where the sword was in Legend of Zelda, or I found the Master Sword in Legend of Zelda. How did you get it? Right? Well, there wasn't the internet to tell you. You had to hear it from somebody else, right? So you couldn't like search up.
They have those like game guides back then?
Yeah,
No.
they had okay, so they did have
It was at the start.
once Nintendo became when Nintendo became popular, they had game guides, they had Nintendo Power, they had
Okay.
magazines that would give you hints, they had a phone line, a tip line, right? But before that, like when you went to the arcade, like you would go to the arcade and you would watch somebody play a game, right? And then you'd put a little quarter up on the arcade game saying that you got next, like I got next. So once they would die, then they would have to move over and you would put in your quarter. So but it became a community, right? So everybody kind of like helped each other out. So the other thing too though is like you would end up going to the arcade and then you go to school and you would tell everybody about the game that you were playing, right? If it was a brand new game, you're like, I went and I played this game, and I guarantee you that's how it happened, right? So the parents probably ended up saying that there's this evil game, you can't play it, right? So then kid probably went to school saying, dude, I went to this arcade. And then he probably told the whole story, like saying, I went to this arcade and I saw somebody playing this game and it made him like, it brainwashed him and turned him into a zombie, and they're like, oh, that's so cool. And then they told somebody else saying, oh, I saw somebody playing this game. Like they acted as if they were there. And that's how that
Yeah.
shit spread. Just like how
It's a bad game of telephone.
a bad game of telephone. It's just like how back in high school, we all thought that Marilyn Manson removed his 2 ribs so
Well,
he
he
could
did.
suck his own dick. We had the
That
internet, but
wasn't a rumor that spread. That was just a fact that spread.
yeah, like, no, dude, he was on
Allegedly,
stage and he was sucking his own dick. Like, yeah, okay, well, he would have been arrested for that. I'm pretty sure you can't suck your own dick on stage, but
That's illegal.
it's illegal. But I'm pretty sure that that's how this whole Polybius thing started, right? But that being said, I'm asking you now, Max, do you think that it's possible that something like that could have existed? That there could have been some video game that could have, like, got people, like, brainwashing people and turning them into, like, assassination, like, assassinate, like, a governor or something like that?
I don't think they would do anything like that at the start. I think maybe like you're right, like parents were telling their kids not to, and it spread wildfire like that.
Yeah.
But then someone had probably like in the government probably heard that and was just like, well, let's fucking do that then. Like they already think we're doing it. Let's
Yeah.
put it, and now arcades are blowing up.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's put Duck Hunt in there, and we'll see who's the sharpshooters.
Yeah.
We'll put Pac-Man. See who retarded.
see who can eat pills. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think as soon as like something like that kind of catches, like they'll use it to their advantage.
Yeah.
Um, just like them putting crack in different environments. They're gonna just go ahead and use that because they already think certain ways of those environments. And,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They already see the pattern, so they're just gonna fucking use it. They're gonna do that, and then eventually, like how it is now, I'm sure people are. I'm sure they have something going through like Call of Duty to get some type of hackers, or there's a whole broad array of people, on these games. So you can find just about anything you're looking for. You can find hookers or like creatives. I'm just rambling
Creatives.
now. Where you were supposed to stop me.
No, okay. So, I mean, I do think that it is. I think it is possible that the government at that time, or not even the government, but just scientists, right? They could have put a game in to see the effects of video games. Because I don't know if you are aware of this, but
No.
The very yeah, the very first video game, and I'm doing air quotes, was actually created in where was it? It was in the military. Somebody who worked for the military, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was kind of like it was done on like a radar system, and they basically had like two cannons, and they would shoot at each other. So you would change like the angle or something like that, if I could remember correctly. I'm doing this all off of memory, but so they would shoot like a cannon, and if it hit the other cannon, then you won. Um, and I could be totally wrong. So people go ahead
You sure they
and
just weren't watching like cannons go like,
no,
in the war?
but
Like,
yeah,
oh,
no.
my guy won.
This is back. This is back in the 70s. So this person worked for the
Oh.
military. Okay, so this person
Oh,
worked
okay,
for the
okay,
military.
okay.
So the idea of video games and military being connected, it's not that far fetched, right? Uh,
Yeah.
so when I could totally see the government or just whoever it is, uh, wanting to study, especially after you see video games rising in popularity in arcades, not at home, because at this time you did have Pong and you had Atari, and it was popular at home, but arcades was where it was at. I could definitely see them manufacturing some sort of video game that would have certain sounds and colors and flashing lights, different combinations to brainwash and hypnotize people, right? To create different effects in the brain and see how those things would affect people. Do I think that there would be like a nefarious reason for that? Probably, but I could also see them just doing it to study, right? Just to see like what would the effects of the flashing lights be on people? What would the effects of the sounds be on people? And then
This one
how
just falls to the ground and shakes.
yeah, right. Yeah. He's foaming at the mouth, right? But in order to do that though, they would have to have some sort of they would have to have like an employee like watching somebody playing these games like all the time, right? They would have to have some way of being able to keep like visually watch. They need to watch at all times. They didn't have security cameras everywhere, and if they did, they were shitty, right? So you've got to have somebody watching somebody playing this game at all times. The other thing too is like it being in Oregon, because I think that's where they said it was originated from, where this Polybius was from. Um, so I mean, I don't know. I think that I think that you got to sit there and you got to have like a full on employee sitting there watching, or a Men in Black or whatever like that,
Yeah, it's the same thing as oh, they're watching us all through our cameras. Well, now there's just like one guy watching me jerk off.
Yeah,
You think they're
exactly.
really paying?
this guy, yeah. I mean,
Boss, can I change it? He's just whacking it again. No, no, that's your guy. You gotta watch him.
Yep. He's like, oh my god, dude,
He's
how many
dangerous.
times do I
Are you
have to?
sure?
How many times do I have to see this guy jerk off to fat chicks? I don't know. It's like, oh, he's switching it up. He's switching it up. It's a midget.
It's a clown.
Oh, he stopped halfway through. I guess he thought it wasn't a midget. He didn't know it was a midget. It's a midget.
Dude, sometimes you can't tell.
No.
Just
It's
by
all
the little picture up on the front.
it's all about camera angles too, man. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like, I just thought she had stubby fingers. I didn't. Her forehead was big, but I was like, fuck it. I'm a trooper. I'll do it. Okay. And I know that this is a side note, but what has happened to Down syndrome women? Like, when did like, what happened? How come there's so many of them that are like, there's way more like uh like like models
Are you trying to say
with
hot ones?
with yeah like when did that happen? When did that happen?
I think those are mainly filters,
You think
but
so?
for the most part,
Yeah, I
there's
don't know,
a lot
man.
of
This is
them. If you see one out in public, it's like they're just people trying. I don't know.
yeah, man. It's hard to believe
Especially like
anything anymore.
going to the gym and shit. So they're trying. But no, anything you see on the internet, you can't believe.
No, you
And
can't.
if it's too far to believe, you might want to start believing it. That's how I see it. I'm starting to see shit. Dragons and
Aliens.
minotaurs. They're real, man.
I used to want to believe in aliens, and then the government said that they were real. So now I don't believe in them anymore. But that's a whole side note. But like I do think that it's a possibility. It is a strong possibility that they could have used an arcade game to go ahead and gather information. I don't think that they were making Manchurian candidates. If you don't know what that is, it's they brainwash somebody to like assassinate a like a
Not through
politician or something.
games, but they're definitely doing that.
Not through. Oh yeah, no, they definitely are. But I mean, like they could have possibly been seeing like what is what the limit of brainwashing is in a video game, right?
Yeah.
So
Or like the start, because if it's such a new thing, you never really know when a what is it, like a science experiment starts and ends.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
like did they start it when the first one came out? Because like you said, it started with the dude that worked on radar.
Yeah, let me I'm going to look that up. So then that way I can give factual information to people.
Well, I mean that's not what this show's really about, but
no, but we're going to try. We're going to try
so this guy stuck his penis in a duck, and that's how we got this video game.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so actually it was a tennis game. Tennis for two. So this was excuse me, Tennis for Two, and it was made in 1958. Is a pioneering video game created by physicist William Higginbotham for a public exhibition in Brookhaven National Laboratory. Widely considered one of the earliest video games, displayed on an oscilloscope. It simulated a side view tennis match where two players used controllers with knobs and buttons to hit a ball over a net. Predating Pong by over a decade, it was designed purely for entertainment and was a huge hit, demonstrating the potential for interactive electronic games. Okay, so an oscilloscope is an electronic measurement instrument that displays a two-dimensional graph of electrical signal voltage. It allows engineers and technicians to visualize, measure, and analyze waveforms, including frequency, amplitude, and distortion, to diagnose circuit faults. Okay, so that I got that information now.
You see they're filming stuff or the new season for It's Always Sunny.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Dude, nice.
They're supposed to have like a big explosion.
Okay.
And because I think it was Max, actor, was posting him, and it was like a Die Hard reference.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I found okay, so I was curious what Brookhaven National Laboratory is. What were you gonna say?
I said, all right, we got through that.
Okay, so I was curious what Brookhaven National Laboratory was. It's a United States Department of Energy National Laboratory located in Upton, New York. It was formally established in 1947 at the site of Camp Upton, a former U.S. Army base on Long Island. It's located
Okay.
approximately 60 miles east of New York City. It is managed by Stony Brook University and Battelle Memorial Institute. So, research type currently it does nuclear and high energy physics, materials science, nanomaterials, chemistry, energy, and environmental, biological, and climate sciences. Okay, so it was. I'm guessing at that time it was back in because it was established in 1947. So it was it's an energy laboratory, and I'm assuming that it's always been um, had something to do with the government, the U.S. States Department of Energy. It's a national laboratory, and it used to be a U.S. Army base. So to think that it wasn't still involved with the Army, that would be a little close. That'd be a little close minded, I think. So I think it is perfectly possible that this person that created this on this oscilloscope, whatever. I don't know the word. I've never seen the word before this. I thought it was like a radar thing because when I saw it, I mean, look, when I went off of my memory, like I said, radar, and I think that they kind of look the same. It's just a little circle with like green, green, green lines on it. So to me, it looked like a radar thing. But they played the basically the first version of Pong on there, and I I think it is perfectly possible that they did that, and um they could have yeah, man, it has. I'm sure it has some sort of. I'm sure that video games and the military are very closely linked, and I do think that it is possible that maybe Polybius. Maybe that game didn't exist, but maybe there was something similar to that. And like how we were talking about before, how the game of telephone, right? So maybe there was a game like Tempest that came out briefly that they were fucking around with, and then like that legend grew, right? So uh maybe, yeah, maybe that was the case. I don't know. But I mean, I definitely think that games nowadays, like they can definitely they can affect you for sure. But that's something that we'll talk about like
Next
the next
episode.
episode. Yeah. So maybe not the next one, but we do plan on talking about video games and the role that the military has with them, and how video games affect our brain, and and how they affect us mentally, and how they could possibly affect us physically too. So we will talk about that. That's going to be the series. How many episodes we do, I don't know. That depends on how long we talk. So, but yeah. So that's pretty much it. But there's not much else. There's not much else to talk about. If you want to watch anything, like if you want to hear more information about Polybius, you could go on YouTube. There's a ton of videos on YouTube about this, because it's been, if you're a gamer or if you're not a gamer, but if you are a gamer, you've probably heard of this. Especially if you're like my age, you've probably heard of this. You've never heard of this before, right, Mix?
No,
No.
not before you brought it up to me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard about the ET video game?
No. Do they have one?
Yeah, dude. They blame. Okay, so these are this. Okay, so and actually, this can kind of tie into Polybius. Okay, so um, video games were huge in the early '80s, and then Atari was so popular at home that there were so many games that were being released. The Now it didn't have the capability of being graphically as good as the arcades. So they brought arcade games though to the Atari, and usually the Atari version was crap, right? So the Atari version of Pac-Man was terrible. But because it was so popular, Atari was forcing their programmers to create these video games super quick and release them super quick without like really making the games good. One of those games that they forced them to make super quick was E.T., the extraterrestrial. They were trying to get this game out at the same time that the movie was coming out. So they they released this game, and the developers of this game really had little information as far as what this movie was supposed to be. And so they just did their best. They tried to create this video game. And a lot of people blame E.T., the video game E.T., for being the last straw, the straw that broke the camel's back and crashed the video game market. It was so bad. This game was so bad that people were like, "Fuck video games! I'm not playing. I'm not playing them anymore." And the game and the whole home video game market crashed. And it wasn't until Nintendo came out, like in like '84, that anybody was willing to play a video game again. At least at home. The arcades were still doing okay, but they weren't doing great. Like it was like a rough time from basically like 82, like the end of 82 up until like 84. There really was nothing. Video games. It looked like video games were a fad that were going to go away. And then Nintendo came out and they called it an entertainment system instead of a video game system. So it was more than just video games. This was entertainment. And then video games blew up again, thanks to Nintendo. So, but this ET video game was so bad and they had so many unsold copies. The rumor was that what they did was they took all of these copies of the video game and they buried it in the desert, right? And for the longest time, that was an urban legend. So just like how Polybius is an urban legend, them taking all of the cartridges from ET and burying them in the desert, that was an urban legend. And a lot of, old people like me that played video games that are all into that, we all knew about that story. Well, not that long ago, I would say probably within the last 10 years, they figured out where. So the fucking Indiana Jones of video game what archaeology ends up finding out where these ET cartridges were buried. He gets permission to go ahead and dig there, and he digs up all of these fucking cartridges, and they had thousands of cartridges of the ET game. So what I'm trying to say is that just because it's an urban legend doesn't mean that it's not true. For the longest time, we thought the ET was, the burial of their games was an urban legend and that it wasn't true. But then somebody decided to dig and they dug up an urban legend and made it true. So what I'm trying to say is it is a strong possibility that even the urban legend of Polybius could actually be true. I still think it's crazy though that they buried the bunch of those fucking games when they could have just like melted down the stuff, So, but you never heard about that? Because this was in the last 10 years. They dug it up.
No, I never heard about that.
Yeah. You should check that out. It's actually, they have like a little like documentary on YouTube about it. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You should check it out. And
I'm surprised you haven't sent it to me before.
yeah, because it's been a long time since I saw it. I'll try to look it up and then I'll send it to you. Um, and then as far as like Polybius goes, I'll do the same thing. I'll look for something, and then I'll send you the video, the link. So, but you know, it depends on whether or not you want to sit there and watch. Because some of these things are, you know, they're half an hour long, and I'm sure you got other shit. I mean, you've got a lot of. It's not like you have a ton of free time on your hands, so you know, you may not you may not want to watch it. You may want to be, you know, watching One Piece and pausing it at certain
During the
scenes.
drive, I'll probably fucking listen to one of these or something because I just typed in ET video game and then landfill pulled up
Mm-hmm.
and like,
I can't hear what you're watching, but
no, sorry, I put it up at first, but I don't want to play the whole video.
yeah,
Trying to
that's okay.
see. I can't tell if these are real pictures. Um, Again, don't believe everything you see on the internet no more, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
But I'll look more into that. That sounds
yeah,
funny. That's interesting.
yeah. It's interesting, but you know, I mean, I guess really like it. That's what I want to say as we wrap this up. Um, you know, there are urban legends, and sometimes you find out that urban legends are true. Just like how, I mean, as time goes on, we find out a lot of things. Like we find out that uh, Helen Keller was a scam, right? Like, she was, like I guess that's the thing right now. Have you seen any of that?
I mean, Family Guy again, calling it out.
Yeah, yeah. How you know? So I mean, uh, you know, just things like that.
Long time ago too.
We
So
found,
that's crazy. That
yeah,
is just pulling out. That's funny.
yeah. You know, we find out as time goes on that you know Christopher Columbus was never looking for, uh, you know, the fact that he was here. He wasn't. It wasn't because he was looking for India. He came
He like
exactly where he
an
was supposed to.
escaping Jew too.
I can't. Yeah, I can't remember. But you know, the fact
That's one
that
of the things I heard last.
the idea that Christopher Columbus was the first one to discover America, that also wasn't true. So you know, history
Apparently,
changes.
he died still believing it was India.
Yeah, I
So
feel like that's no. I feel like that's not true. I feel like he probably
that's
ended
what
up.
that one I heard, and that he was Jewish. So it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah,
how else do we go so long calling the Native Americans Indians?
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Well, the word Indian or whatever, I think it means like sun something. I can't remember, but you know, it's the
Okay.
word. The word has a meaning, so and it's not India because India, where India is, it wasn't called India at first. Um, you know
No,
what?
but that's
At
like
that time,
the story that he came looking for India, right, and then found America on accident.
yeah, but that is a pretty big like that's a
Basic
pretty big miss.
bullshit.
That's a pretty big miss.
Yeah.
Like I feel like you have
No,
to go.
exactly.
Yeah, like if you're gonna.
I'm just saying that's the fucking story we were fed.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, like there's urban legends, there's stories that we're told, and you know, there's all sorts of like misdirection, and you
Fucking
can't.
Genghis Khan having a huge cock or whatever, right? No,
Uh,
what was his name? Rasputin.
Rasputin, yeah, but he actually that his well, apparently, allegedly, his dick is on display. So
Yeah.
yeah. So when he finally died, they
But
put it in
did
a
you
jar.
hear about the piece of shit that was supposedly Abraham Lincoln's last turn before he
Oh yeah,
died?
yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it turned out that it wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody paid like
So
a ridiculous amount for this like petrified
some
poop.
guy with a huge slong just fucking cut it off so he can make a quick buck off Rasputin.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Like
Yeah,
fuck it.
yeah,
You
but
need some money? You in a slinch? Tear your dick off.
yeah, that's right. Um, but anyway, so I guess the moral of this story is
Is there?
don't believe a turd is Abraham Lincoln's. So yeah, no, the moral of the story is don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything on the internet. And also don't, and that means like, don't believe that an urban legend is just an urban legend, because sometimes it can actually be true. Right. So, I
Like
mean, this,
Bigfoot.
like Bigfoot. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just remember that it's like that. So, people want to tell
What if after I
stories.
said that, it's like it pans out, we have Bigfoot as a guest. He's like, and you guys talk way too fucking much. I didn't get a fucking word in.
That'd be fucking funny, dude. Anyways, yeah. So,
Sorry.
yeah, no worries.
Ah, shit.
All right. So that's about it. I think we're done. We're done here. We are done here. And as per usual, I'm going to ask you, is there anything that you have to say to end off this episode while I play our outro music?
No.
Okay. All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, bye guys.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. All right. I know I always put you on the spot, but I think it's funny even when you can't think of anything. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's fine.
Dude, I don't know who this is, but we just got a we just got a fucking comment on one of our podcast episodes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What'd it say?
So it's from Pierce029. So that's spelled PIERC 029. They didn't spell out 029. It's the numbers. And it says that would be a fucking long ass name. So the comment says, "Wow, get it together, guys." So, and it was on our most popular episode. Dinosaurs are fake. So I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what they're getting at here.
Yeah, let them figure themselves out.
No, I'm gonna reply because I think it's funny. Why not?
Give it an hour.
Give it an hour? Okay. Well, it's been 32 minutes. So
Right, do whatever you want.
No, that's cool. I'll give it an hour.
Because I wonder if like they might have commented just on the top, or like the title.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah.
We don't know them.
No, I don't.
If that's a new fan. He's not the sexy ones I'm talking about. So you get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna leave this part in of this episode.
Oh, is it being recorded?
Yeah, right now. Yeah.
The fuck, dude?
What?
So what the fuck, man?
Sorry, I'm gonna
Yeah, that's
stop it
cool.
right now. I'm gonna stop it right now.
I didn't say anything.
No,
bad,
you
right?
didn't. You didn't say anything racist.
What?
What? Oh, you're cutting out, man. You're
Great.
what?
Do I say anything ever? Wait, what?
I don't know. Do you ever say anything ever that'll get us canceled? Yeah.
No, well, racist.
No,
But
not totally.
Yes, but not hateful.
No.
It's funny.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cute.